Hey everyone, I hope your bees are doing well. I haven't done a video in a little bit, so I'm going to explain a little, not so much why, but what's been happening. So today is the end of October sometime. I don't know, the 26th or something, I don't know. Anyway, I've been in a drought for a month. Right next door over there in Florida, they've had hurricane after hurricane and they're flooding, and we haven't had a spot of rain. Had one little shower, and still I have all behind me, you can see all the goldenrod blooming. It's like a super dry bloom, and robbing is happening. Anything, if I go to feed, I have to be really careful, and it really kind of sucks, because this apparently is what I have in my forecast. So beekeeping is nothing if it's not actually area specific. So we all watch videos from everybody else, and I might watch a guy in Florida and I might watch a guy in Louisiana, but it can be actually two completely different areas or three completely different areas in what's happening. So the forecast that is coming up, and it's a lot of the south, is higher than normal temperatures all through the winter and into the summer. This past summer was scorching. It was unbelievably hot. I had wax drop. It was just, to be able to come out here was the chore. When I finally got out here, I could only work a few hours. It's super, super hot. You're just pouring sweat, and the humidity is so high, the sweat doesn't cool you off. It's an insane paradox out here. So if nothing else you get out of this video, it's that you're going to go to NOAA or some reliable weather source and start looking at your weather for your particular area and try to plan accordingly. In 2023, I ended up in April with a drought, and that drought stopped me from queen rearing. I had massive drone kills. The girls in the colonies, they took the drones, and you could look at the bottom of the ground outside the hives, and there was drones everywhere. And this was a combination of a late freeze that killed off blooms that were supposed to be blooming and then didn't, and then what did finally bloom was 2 to 3 weeks late. And then on top of that, we had a drought, so there was queen rearing stopped, feeding began, and this is supposed to be a sustainable business. And if you're feeding all the time in an area where it's one thing to do it a little bit here, a little bit there, but the feeding cannot continue and say that you're a sustainable business. This is a bug that's supposed to go out and get the nectar for you. So 2023, it was a drought. Stopped that queen rearing in midstream. Boom, done. Wow, we were lucky to get through the year. We didn't pull hardly any honey. I pulled about a half to a third of what I had normally pulled. So this year, all of a sudden we had rain. 2024. Not only was it a bumper crop year, I pulled the record that I've ever pulled in honey. Wow, it was unbelievable. So we pulled honey, getting ready for fall. Can't wait for the fall bloom. Bloom was a little bit late. Thinking, oh, okay. Well, this bloom came like maybe a week late, and that's when the hurricanes were hitting Florida, and I didn't get any rain. So I'm looking in my hives and I see pollen, but there's like no nectar coming in. Usually it's a flow. Your goldenrod can really give you a flow. There's no flow, but pollen's there. And here's one thing for you: if a hurricane or big winds come and you do have that pollen, pollen can get knocked off the plant. Anyway, my pollen didn't get knocked off the plant. The pollen was there, but there's no nectar. It's a dry bloom. Yikes. So here's my forecast, and this is my point. My forecast, they call it, I think, the La Nina, sets up. All the southeast, or south and south to the southeast, to the lower states, Atlantic states, we have warmer than usual weather coming. Well, warmer than usual is what? I'm in the 80s still, and I'm the end of October, and my nights are 60s. That's super warm. So coming up is warmer than normal, and I had a record heat last year. I don't know what we're in for. Then on top of that, my precipitation forecast. My precipitation forecast is going to be less than normal. So what is my normal? I have no freaking idea. We normal, if I was going off the average, I would get rain every few days in the spring, once or twice a week. Then wait till July, and July is very rainy, and then hurricane season in that period, July, August, even though it's warm. Well, that doesn't look like it's going to happen. It looks like it's going to stay dry, stay dry, stay dry. So queen rearing is really, like I said, you can't just feed through this, because if the hives don't have an enormous amount of food, drones will not be laid. Drones just don't get laid. They have to have the hive has to have a bunch of food. That's why they kill them in the fall. They don't want the drones eating all the food. So they may make a certain amount of drones, but certainly not queen rearing amount of drones. And then what happens to my nukes? Well, I don't really need to make nukes if I'm not doing queen rearing, but you do still want to do a few splits, but that may not happen either. It may be just hunkering down, holding on, make a few splits maybe from the biggest, and try to hold on to the status quo. Can things change? Of course. But the forecasts are getting hairier and hairier in this environment. And down here, the environment gets down here, the environment is it's dangerous. And I'm not even talking snakes and alligators and everything else. And when the drought comes around, the snakes, they start looking for water sources. Animals will start looking. Bees need water sources. There is a local area. I'm in a swamp. They're still very thirsty. There's a local pond just right up here, and it's down, let's see, it's down about 2 feet. So I'm still working through. I'm still prepping for the winter if it ever shows up. And the one thing I am doing is I have stronger colonies, and on top of those I am putting my nukes. Any smaller colony, it's going on top of a stronger colony. So it would be, say, a 3 medium colony, and above it I put a screen bottom. They're not joined. The nuke or 10 frame is just sitting on top, so that it will share heat. They're not sharing resources and stuff like that, because I don't think there's enough resources. I did one, and actually I did a few. The only one actually took that way, and the others, they killed the queens. So she probably would have died anyway, because they were small enough nukes. That's what the problem was. Is why I was trying to share. But so that's what I'm doing, and it really pretty much sucks. It's too hot down here. I have a son living up in the Dakotas, and it's supposed to be extra cold up there. So I don't know what you people up there are going to do, but anyway, I hope you fare better. I hope your hurricanes are not coming your way. I hope you get rain, and Stay sticky. Peace, bruh.